Welcome to the Fit Life for Busy Parents podcast. My name is Coach Cam, and my mission here is simple. I want to empower you as a busy parent to reclaim your energy, identity, and confidence through a series of proven strategies while making every single day taste like a cheat day. So, with that being said, this episode, I want to talk about something which I've coined as Fit-nancial Literacy. And the reason why I say that is because I work with a lot of individuals who do a great job of being able to be successful in a lot of other areas of their life. But when it comes to health and fitness, it's not necessarily the one that's the highest up on the totem pole, right? It's not necessarily their most successful category in life, right? And so, with that being said, when I look at them as individuals, I have the utmost faith that they can go ahead and be competent and be super successful when it comes to being able to lose fat, gain muscle, maintain that weight long term, etc., because of the fact that they've been successful in other areas of their life. And so the reason why I came up with Fit-nancial Fitness or Fit-nancial Literacy, I'm sorry, is because of the fact that being able to understand fitness through a financial, a budget, a monetary standpoint, it makes it much clearer for a lot of people because we learn a lot more about money, finances, and things like that than we do about health and fitness, at least in the context of just basic stuff, right? Meaning that we understand how to be able to look at a bank account and see how much money's in there, be able to make a decision off of whether or not we should make a purchase, whether or not we're going to overdraft, all those kind of things, right? So, with this example, I want to go ahead and set the premise that in this example, we're going ahead and looking at an individual who would, in a calorie deficit, be eating 2,000 calories and 150 grams of protein. Okay. Again, if you are new to the channel, those are the two things that I focus on in terms of weight loss because those are the two things that have the biggest correlation with being able to actually lose the fat and gain the muscle. Okay. So, with that being said, in this scenario, 2,000 calories, 150 grams of protein. I want you to imagine those 2,000 calories as $2,000, right? Or whatever currency, right, that you use that you're watching this from. 2,000, whatever that currency is, dropped into your bank account every single day. Okay. Now, with that, there's one caveat that you have to do, or otherwise this whole thing gets thrown off, right? And what that is that out of those $2,000, you got to be able to go ahead and pay your bills, right? And so, based off of the example that we said with 2,000 calories, right, being $2,000 and 150 grams of protein being your bills, right? We need to be able to understand exactly how much we would spend towards our bills, right? So 150 grams of protein. Every gram of protein is 4 calories. So in terms of the actual budget out of those $2,000 or calories, right? 600, right, which is 150 times 4, have to be taken off and paid towards bills. And then the rest of the money, right, and the $2,000 is play money. So imagine now, just to kind of make things a little bit simpler, because I know I threw a lot of words and a lot of different numbers out, right? $2,000 is dropped into your bank account. Okay. The only stipulation to be able to have those $2,000 is that you have to pay your bills, which is $600. Okay. So if you take 2,000, you minus 600, right? Simple math, you have $1,400 left. $1,400 to be able to do whatever you want with. But at the end of the day, those dollars, I'm sorry, are going to reset and you're going to have $2,000 drop into your account again, but nothing that you have from the day before is going to be able to roll over. Okay. This is how nutrition works in terms of being in a calorie deficit. You get 2,000 calories dropped into your bank account, right, every single day, right, in this example. And you have 150 grams of protein, which is 600 calories, right? Every gram of protein is 4 calories. 150 times 4 is 600. Okay, so keep with me here. 2,000 calories. 600 of those calories have to go towards protein. That's your bills, right? You pay off those 600, right, calories, right, towards protein. You now have 1,400 calories to be able to use on whatever you want throughout the day. Now, the one difference, obviously, with calories is that you're not going to most likely be able to get in 150 grams of protein without having some carbs and some fats. I guess you could get a whey protein isolate and just throw that into water and drink it all down and be like, cool, now I got 1,400 calories. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to be able to do a calorie deficit, but I guess you could. Okay. Now, let's say that with the 600 calories worth of protein, let's say you ended up spending 50 grams, right, uh on carbs, right? So that's another 200 calories, right? Because again, every gram of carbs is 4 calories, yes. So that's 200 calories. Now you're at 800 calories spent. And let's say you spent $15 or 15, I'm sorry, 15 grams on fats, right? So every gram of fat is 9 calories. So 9 times 15 is 135. So if you add in the 200 plus the 600, okay, you've now had 935 calories from that meal that's going to get you the 150 grams of protein, going to have a little bit of the carbs and the fats in there, right? I'm just using random numbers here, right? Out of those 2,000 calories, you still have 1,065 calories left to be able to go and enjoy what you want. I just went to Olive Garden yesterday and I had the chicken parmigiana. It's 1,020 calories with 65 grams of protein. So I wouldn't even necessarily have to have the protein aspect of it, but I could have a whole meal at Olive Garden just with my leftover calories, right? In general, if you're going to go and have, like, let's say a cookie, right? In general, just generally speaking here, a cookie's probably going to be somewhere between 150 and 350 calories, let's say, just to be safe. There's definitely gonna be some cookies that can go up into the 400, 500, 600 calories, right? When you get outrageous. But generally speaking, right? I think 350 is probably pretty generous. So generally speaking, 150 to 350. Let's say it was 350, right? If you had 3 cookies, you would still be within your 1,065 grams of or calories remaining, right? So you could have all the meal that we talked about to hit your 150 grams of protein with some of the carbs, with some of the fat, have the rest of your calories and cookies, and you could still be in a calorie deficit and hit your protein goal, right? This is called the reward method. And that's exactly what we go ahead and prioritize here with the dirty cut method here that we have at Title Training to be able to make every single day taste like a cheat day, right? So in this example where we have the 2,000 calories, 150 grams of protein, if you hit your protein earlier on in the day, and let's say that you spent even 1,200 calories, right, to hit that 150 grams of protein, right? You'd still have 800 calories to do whatever you want with. You could have a couple bags of chips, you could have some quesadillas, maybe even have a couple drinks, right? If you're someone who likes to be able to drink a little bit, have a little bit of maybe let's say a 400-calorie meal and have some drinks with it, right? You're able to make this super flexible and super enjoyable for you. But there's a couple things that people often do that make it almost impossible to be able to actually lose the weight. One is they put themselves in a ridiculous calorie deficit. I talked to someone the other day who was saying that they eat 1,400 calories a day with 200 grams of protein. So 200 grams of protein is 800 calories, right? Again, times 4, so 800 calories. That means that they only have 600 calories for the rest of the day to be able to do anything else, right? And again, part of those 200 or the 200 grams of protein, I'm sorry, is going to have to come from some kind of fat, some kind of carbs. So probably just by hitting the 2,000 or the 200 grams of protein, they're probably already at their 1,400 calories just because just basic math, right? Those extra 600 calories, right? So being overly restrictive in calories and overly crazy in protein is going to make it one damn near impossible to be able to have the reward that you enjoy, right? Number two is that a lot of times people will feel like even if they have the calories for it, they're like, no, I'm not going to go and actually have anything that I enjoy because that's going to make me get fat. So instead, if I have 800 calories, I'm going to have 800 calories worth of broccoli and fruit and this, that, and the other. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that if you enjoy those things, that you shouldn't have them. But it's also going to come to a head at some point. So, sorry, I'm going to jump off screen for a moment here. I wanted to share with you guys something from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Yes, T. Harv Eker. It's a book I've been reading. Super, 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 really, really, really good book. But one of the things that he talks about in here, in his wealth file number, I think it was, what did I say? It was 14? Yeah, so wealth file number 14, which again, you have to read the book to really understand why I'm saying wealth file. But it says rich people manage their money well, and poor people mismanage their money well. So again, you could change this to the context of fit people manage their nutrition well, and unfit people, right, mismanage their nutrition well. Okay, so going ahead into this, he talks about being able to save 10% of your income for a play account. So I'm going to go ahead and read it from the book here. It says, on the other hand, you need to put another 10% of your income into a play account. Why? Because we are holistic in nature. You cannot affect one part of your life without affecting the other. Some people save, 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 and while their logical and responsible self is fulfilled, their inner spirit is not. Eventually, this fun-seeking side will come out and say, hey, I've had enough. I want some attention too, and sabotage the results, okay? On the other hand, right, if you spend, 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 right, not only will you never become rich, but the responsible part of you will eventually create the situation where you don't even enjoy the things you're spending your money on, and you'll end up feeling guilty. The guilt will then cause an unconscious overspending as a way of expressing your emotion. Although you might feel better temporarily, soon it becomes the guilt and shame. It's a vicious cycle, and the only way to prevent it is to learn how to manage your money in a way that works. Now, when I read that, I was like, this is classic restrictive dieting versus binge eating, right? We're talking about people who save, 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 or save, save, save their calories, right? And then they feel good in terms of like, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe they're even seeing some progress, right? They're feeling responsible, they're feeling fulfilled, but they can't go out and socialize anymore, right? They can't spend time with their family anymore. They can't go to holidays. They can't go to birthday parties. They can't go to any of these things because, again, they are going to have that impulse to go and eat whatever it is, and they can't do that, or otherwise it goes away from what we're doing, right? And save, save, save. On the other hand, there's people on the other end of the spectrum that maybe have dieted a lot throughout their lives, tried, but they can't. And so they're the spenders, right? They're spending all their calories and going into huge overdrafts, right? In terms of the fit-nancial literacy that we talked about here, they're going way over, right? But then just like the book said, they're actually not even satisfied with what they're eating anymore. And now they're guilty for whether it's the way they look, the way that their clothes fit, maybe it's just the meal that they just ate, right? Whatever you want to say, now they're actually eating, right? To actually eat those emotions, right? They feel bad. Maybe they're longing for love. Maybe they're longing for connection. Maybe they're longing for whatever, but they're actually eating now for that emotion. And then again, this is a vicious cycle where it just keeps going, right? You try to go ahead and stick to the save. You can't. So then you go back to spend. You can't stick there because you don't like the way that you feel. So you go back to the save. And that's where I see people all the time. That's why, just like how he talks about in this book, that you need to have a play account, we need to have play calories. We need to be able to have that fun, have that enjoyment, be able to go out and enjoy a holiday, a birthday, etc. Be able to go up to maintenance calories, be able to have a refeed day, be able to have, the flexibility, like how I said with the reward series, the reward theory, right? Where you can go ahead and have that reward, even though it's a random Wednesday and you're on your diet, that you can still get the enjoyment and the fulfillment out of the food that you want, whether that's a cultural food that you just really love and you long for, whether that's chocolate, whether that's some ice cream, whether that's some quesadillas, whatever it might be for you, right? Maybe you want French fries. Maybe it's a bag of hot Cheetos. Maybe it's a glass of wine or a glass of scotch. It doesn't really matter what it is exactly. But if you continue to tell yourself you can't have that, you can't have that, you can't have that, eventually you're going to binge and you're going to have a lot of it. And that's going to end up doing worse, right? So if we instead make it part of what we're doing, but strategize to include it in a way that's going to allow us to continue to get the results, now, not only do we get the results that we want instead of kind of going up and going down, going up, going down like an elevator, not only do we get the results, we can actually keep them because we found a way to be able to do both. Just the same way he's talking about the rich people continue to get more and more rich and the poor people continue to get more and more poor. The rich people, right, in this scenario, the fit people are able to find that balance. They're not looking for an and or situation. They're looking for a both. I want to be able to get in shape, but I also want to eat my favorite foods. I want to be able to go to the gym and get stronger, but I also want to spend more time with my family. I want to be able to be successful in my career, but I also want to look good in my clothes and be able to show up with energy, right? They're finding that balance. They're doing both. So my challenge to you here is whether or not you're with title training, it doesn't matter. But do something that includes both. Not even just with health and fitness, but with your life. I want to be a good parent, but I also want to prioritize myself, right? Boom, you're doing both. I want to be able to be successful, right? But I also want to make sure that I'm set up for retirement, right? I'm not going to blow all my money. Okay, I'm going to do both, right? I want to make sure that I can be a great friend, but I also want some me time. I want to be a great husband, but I want to have some me time, right? You can have both. So don't limit yourself and don't look at these things that we want in life as roadblocks to something else. If you look at it from a standpoint of both, a space of love and abundance, you're going to be able to make it work and it's going to work out for you tenfold. So, all in all, let's go out there and turn one day into a lifestyle. Let's continue to go out there and be our most fit and active versions of ourselves. Let's acquire both. You can do it. I'll see you guys on the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe below so that you can make sure that you don't miss another episode.